anything I need to explain. You might be weirded out. Why is there two people instead of five? The requirement? Well, there's only one explanation I can say. Is that I forgot. Yes, I basically forgot to make a team. Yes, so just have to make do. So yeah. Okay. So the title for my presentation is called "The Inflation of the United States of America." Before I introduce my team, there's a whole video for that. So I'm gonna let you guys enjoy that, and maybe by then you might get to know who I am and who is my member. So So we're gonna keep moving on, and it's the table of content. So the first one is the definition of inflation. It's when I explain what is inflation, what's the meaning, and everything. The second one is the introduction of the United States of America, or USA. The third one is the trend or statistics of inflation in USA. The fourth one is the issues of inflation. The fifth, impact of inflation. The sixth is the policies to solve the issues of inflation. The sixth one is the conclusion, and the seventh, the last one is the reference, where I get all the info I get is from magazine, news, the journal, and everything else. All right, slide is, of course, let us start first about the what to know about inflation. Okay, before we get to know inflation, in market economy, prices for goods and services are always shifting. Either it goes up or it goes down. No, okay. So meanwhile, inflation is a rate of increase in the price of goods and services in a period of time. So for example, this month, there is there is a decrease of price of goods and services, but over time it will increase little by little until it gets to be so expensive. For example, you can buy less for $1 than you could have before. You could buy less for $1. Oh yes, price. The inflation, however, unfortunately gradually lowers the value of the money in a country. It's like, okay, so let's move on to our next slide, the introduction of USA. Okay, so the United States of America is a country in North America and has around 50 states. Furthermore, the United States is actually the fourth largest country in the world in area after Russia, Canada, and China. Okay. There's a couple of states, for example, there's Miami, there's New York, there's Hawaii, there's Arizona, there's Ohio, and actually a lot more, but I just cannot remember them. I'm so sorry. There are also the conterminous states. They are bounded by, for example, on the north, they have the Canada. On the east, they have the Atlantic Ocean. On the south, there's the Mexico. And the west, there is the Pacific Ocean, which is actually very cool. Okay, so the national capital of USA is actually in the Washington, D.C. A lot of people think it's in New York, but it's actually in Washington, D.C. It's actually quite extensive in the District of Columbia, which created around 1790. It is, and oddly, the United States is relatively young by the world standard, being less than 250 years, and also has the greatest economic power in the world. But there are countries that are nearly rivaling it, like Russia, China, or even South Korea, Japan. So let's move on to our next slide, which is the statistics of inflation in USA. Okay, so As you can see, the statistics shows the inflation rate from 2019 to 2024. As you can see, the lowest inflation rate is 2020, which is around 1.22%, and 2022 was the highest, which is 8%. 2020 is the lowest because of the disruption caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The, uh, because of the lockdown and restriction that was announced, this has led to a high decreased spending on non-essential goods and services. People were also very uncertain about the future and often prioritize saving over spending. And also, if they want to spend it, they just spend it on things that are necessary. For example, food, toilet paper was very expensive, mass, and more. This has resulted in reduce of demand around the places. Not okay. After that, 2022 is the highest inflation rate because again, it's the COVID-19. It's actually the primary reason. This is because by 20 days, there is a lingering effect from 2020 to 2021. Because the pandemic disrupted the global supply chain, it has caused the shortage of raw materials and goods. And by 2022, the supply chain it has not fully recovered and led to increased costs for production and transportation. Not only that, it has delays of shipping. For example, ports has remained congested. The freight costs were high. The logistics system struggled to meet demand. This has caused a high increase of inflation rate in the US. Not only in the US, it's actually around the whole world. All right. The uh, the last slide that I will present is the issues of inflation. Okay, I'm gonna explain to three issues. For example, number one is the employee shortage. Because there are many businesses have trouble finding sufficient employees, it has driven them to give a better pay. But larger paychecks maybe are fantastic for the employees. They also represent more expenses for the companies because they have to cover the expenses to drive inflation. For example, they have to drive up prices for the goods and the services because because there are freq because there are so many things that the companies has to cover the expenses. They have to frequently increase the prices of their goods and services. This has made to this will actually this is actually one of the reasons why inflation has been high a lot of time in the for the company. The second one is the pandemic disturbance. Okay, so in the COVID-19 pandemic, it has reversed the state of the world's economy. Demand for many products shifted overnight. Factories closed, shipping slowed. People sought more goods and services than businesses could supply when life returned to normal, therefore driving prices up. And then lastly, we got is the cost push inflation. It occurs when the rising price of input goods and services increase the price of the final goods. For example, commodity prices spiked sharply during the pandemic as a result of a radical shift in demand, buying pattern, cost to serve, and preserve value across sectors and value chains. This has offset inflation and minimized impact on financial performance. Industry companies were forced to increase prices for consumers.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Muhammad bin Mustaqim. Today, I want to talk about the impact of inflation in United States of America. Firstly, the impact of inflation in United States of America is expanding resources. American Philippines as daily expenses, groceries, and rent petrol have become more costly. Families with lesser income who spend more of their money on it find it particularly taxing. Secondly, the impact of inflation is problems facing companies. Rising labor and material prices make it more difficult for companies to remain profitable in America. Particularly small enterprises find it difficult to pass these expenses on consumers without losing to the rivals. After that, I want to talk about the policies to solve the issue of inflation in United States of America. Firstly is pricing restraints. Price controls are floor or cap established by USA government applied to particular items. Price limits can be used in concert with wage restrictions to lower wage drive inflation. Secondly is monetary policy with contractionary tendencies. Contractionary monetary policy is regarded as the better way to lower inflation in America. A contractionary policy seeks to lower the money supply of an economy by raising the interest rates. Finally, we reach the conclusion of the inflation in United States of America. In conclusion, the increasing of inflation really gives negative effects to United States of America. The inflation in 2021 until 2022 with the impact to American because of the pandemic. The Federal Reserve take action to increase interest rate that made inflation lower. Moreover, USA balanced the economic development with slowing down the price rise. To managing inflation and promoting long-term economic stability, USA need to observation and flexibility monetary policy. Lastly, there is reference that help us to complete this assignment. Let's take a look at this reference.
Well, K6, I don't know, maybe 10. I'm so done with this. Okay, introducing myself. Before,
When you forgot to unmic.
okay, it works. So I started. Fuck. Oh, I mean, shit. This is tough. Oh, why is it so hard? God damn it, man.